Good morning. Welcome to Reader's Retreat. I am Paul, and this is a, I don't know what you call it, I guess my thoughts on a certain book. I've only finished one book this weekend. Well, I will say this past week. I finished The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz uh, yesterday. And I know there's a lot of people that slams the book. There's a lot of people that loves the book, and people I know says you either love it or hate it. I can see where they're coming from on that. I can see why people would hate it, especially if they don't give it a chance. People have to remember this is Julia Bartz's debut novel. That means this is the first book from her. Okay, and for people to give it a 1 or 2 stars, I don't believe that is, or even DNF. I don't think they got into the book very far, because you have to give it a chance. All debut novels needs a bigger chance than a regular novel that's from a repeat author. Now, with that said, I did give this book 4 stars. Did I love it? No. Did I hate it? No. Did I dislike it? No. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Uh, see, with me, 3 stars is I enjoyed it, but I don't care if I ever buy another book from that author. A 4 star usually means I really enjoyed it. It ended. It could have ended better, and I will buy another book from this author. I won't go out and I won't rush out and buy it. No, but I would. But if I see her name on a book, I might. I mean, I will probably end up buying it. I enjoyed it. Maybe because I'm a writer. I don't know. But the thing is, now this situation that took place in this book, I don't want to go through. But I would love to be in that mansion and just write. I mean, that mansion would give you great. I mean, you probably could sit in that mansion and come up with a whole lot of books to write. But I wouldn't want to go through what these girls went through. Now, I've heard some people say they didn't like the main character situation, where the main character and this other character in here was besties, as they say nowadays, and they did something. Then they turned their back on each. Well, one turned their back on one, so one felt like. I mean, there's one that she thought. I'm just saying, she thought not only people was out to get her, but she was better than everybody else. Well, the main character, which is Alex, uh, she was a personality of someone that she felt like, oh, let's put it this way, she was a wuss. I guess that's the best way to say it. I mean, you know, she was one of those girls that is always whining and crying and uh, everything else about everything. And her best friend, her bestie was Ren, which is in this book, and they both get to go to this retreat, but but it's after Ren had an accident and she blamed Alex for it, and Alex was in her mind she didn't do nothing, uh, which we all know people that does stuff and then in their mind they block it out and they didn't do nothing. It was always the other person. Now, since we talked about those two characters, uh, I would have to say my favorite character in here, though, would be the black girl. She, I liked, uh, I liked her. I think personally, I think she should have been the main character. And this is why this did not get a 5 star. I thought she needed to be the main character because I mean, she was strong and stuff, but she, her problem was she still thought everybody was against her because she was black. But I enjoyed what uh, I enjoyed her character. Now, my least favorite character of the people that was invited there would be Poppy, and I mean, I just didn't care for that character. No, you got to remember that Rosa was the published author that invited these people to her home for this retreat. And we find out quite a few things about Rosa. I ain't going to go into it because it's probably spoiler, and I don't do spoilers. But I would say people that, I mean, I can only say that before I got to page 100, yes, I felt like giving this a 1 or 2 stars, and that's it. But I kept reading, where most people would have DNF'd it before they got to the 100. Uh, Most people would made up their mind about the book, and no matter what happened in the book, they wasn't going to give it anything higher than a 2. Uh, but that's what makes us all different. We all ain't going to enjoy the same book. We get each of us gets something different from the book. Now this here got my writing juices going, I guess you can say it. And I like to get into the writing and back into writing. And I would have to say that this book here is what make me want to get back into writing. I would love to, like I said, be be in this mansion, or in that case, any spooky mansion in the woods all by itself and just write. Uh, because the thing is, it's awesome. Now, with that, all that said, this is taking place in February, so they do mention stuff about Valentine's and stuff like that. So this, uh, so in a way, you can say this is a Valentine's book also, because they do mention it and stuff happens on that day. Now, with all that said, I think I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. I really can't. Uh, because I would buy the next book because I did enjoy the book. It's 4 star. It's not a 5 star because it could have ended better. I didn't care for the ending, even though it was all right. The ending was all right. I just didn't care for it. I thought it could have been better. And and as a writer, I know endings are a pain in the butt. That's all there is to it. Uh, there's some writers think they can do an ending perfectly, and they can't do an ending at all. And then there's other writers thinks they can't do an ending, but they do it perfectly. So even in writing, we're all different. So would I recommend this? I would recommend this to anybody that writes. I really would. To get their juices flowing and get their mind going and get their imagination running. Uh, and I think people that doesn't write might misunderstand this book a little bit. So that's my thoughts on this book. I hope you like it. But like I said, there's uh, there's a lot in that book that was you know, the first part of it. It's like any book. The first part of a book is always boring uh, because they're trying to set up everything. But I would say from page 100 on, I truly enjoyed the book. Uh, I think that's when everything started happening. It's not a big book, by the way. There's only like 313 pages in it or something like that. And so the only thing I'm saying is, even me, we all need to give a book a bigger chance before we make up our mind. Like I said, there's some people that will read it and before they get to 100 says this is a 1 or 2 star, and they refuse to go any higher with the stars, even no matter if they enjoyed the rest of the book or not. I know people like that. Personally, now I'm not talking about anybody on the internet. I'm talking about people that I know in my personal life that's like that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to try to start doing this more often, talking about books. That's 4 or 5 stars. Three on down, I probably won't talk about like this, but 4 and 5 stars needs to be talked about. So, like I said, I can see why people hated it. I can see why people loved it. But personally, I think that people like me, likes right down the middle. Uh, we don't love it, we don't hate it. Uh, so, I mean, most of the reviews I seen after I read it was 4 and 5 stars. There's a few 3 stars, and I know of a few people that gave it 2s and 1s and DNFs, and but I personally enjoyed it. So I would say if you're a writer and you want to, if you're a writer, this is a must read book. I mean, I really enjoyed it as a writer. Uh, Now, if I read it, probably say just as a reader, it probably would have got a 3 star. But since I read it and looked at it as a writer, it became a 4 star. Uh, but to be honest, if anything, it probably, in my opinion, it probably was a 3.75 star. But Goodreads don't let you do that percentage, so I gave it a 4 star. I just rounded it up. So you all take care, and I'll be talking to you soon. And I will have another video up today about current reads and what I'm reading. So you all take care, and I'll be talking to everybody later. And let your imagination run.